Michael Barrymore was the biggest star on British television.
Michael Barrymore.
Michael Barrymore.
All right? He was as big as it gets.
Thank you very much.
It then all went horribly wrong. A spiral downwards into a very dark place. This extraordinary roller coaster life, the rise from a very difficult upbringing to becoming the most popular guy on television.
What?
He had a friendship with Princess Diana. And then Michael Barrymore's story ends in utter tragedy. Drink, drugs, the death of a young father of 2 children in Michael's swimming pool. And I'm going to have to try and get to the truth.
A lot of the stuff that's got to come out will be the first time the public's hearing it.
For him, this is like coming home.
He says it as it is. I perform as it is. Should be a good combination, shouldn't it? Don't you think? We'll see. Wow.
Michael Barrymore, you're back on primetime ITV.
Yeah, I know.
And you're getting an ovation like that.
When I got here today, and it just all came back, you know, it's just something I do, and like, you know.
You were the biggest star on British television.
Really?
You were, but you were at ITV, and this was your home.
Yeah,
where the magic happened.
These sort of sets, you know. I mean, ours was better finished, but I mean, it was. We had a bit more money then. Obviously, you haven't got the budget, but you know, it's all right, you know. But
how does it feel for you, though?
how do I feel right now?
Yeah.
I feel amazing, and I mean, I'm serious. I was talking to I live with a little Jack Russell called Dave, and you know, I was saying to him today, I don't want to cry, and I could feel it then. Just coming. Anyway.
Very few people in the history of British television have gone from such a height to such a fall so fast in the way that you did.
Yeah.
When you thought about doing this show, and you know we're going to go into all this...
Yeah, of course, yeah.
What did you feel about what had happened to you?
I've never had any resentments about it. I've never gone into self-pity about it, because you don't gain anything from that. I learnt from, you know, I've had my addiction problems. I've been sober now, coming up 10 years. It's the longest I've ever got.
Really?
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, it's a bit weird. Just like, I've got my back to this, like, you know. Oh, they're French. Hello. Quand je commande de voici, comment de j'étais. Alors, le Piers Morgan, sur le Barrymore, dodgy geezer. Oh,
I'm starting to feel like I've already lost myself.
No, I should get back to
If I could wrestle you back to the point of being here, this is actually my show, yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right. OK, but it's my life story.
It is.
But it's your show?
Yeah.
How does that work, then?
It's complicated. Well, ideally, I would interview myself, but I'm too expensive.
I don't mind interviewing you if you want. So, any dodgy birds through your life? Hey?
It's just...
Had a bit of gear every now and again?
Just get back on track.
Je ne peux pas son nom, mais je
Can you cancel my taxi and book me a room tonight? That's a good idea. You always had an ability to take control of...
To own the stage.
Yes, and you're doing it tonight. And it's weird to have to watch you do your thing.
I spent years getting that sort of confidence, and it takes moments to lose it. I lost it completely, obviously, from what happened. And then slowly, bit by bit, I've got it back.
There were some younger people in here who may not be aware just how big you were at the time this was...
Christ, it's water. Sorry, carry on, sorry.
Your magic, when you were at the peak of your ITV powers, was your extraordinary relationship with audiences. What did you put that down to?
I've always found people fascinating. You know, my dad was a compulsive gambler, and he used to come home drunk, and there'd be fights at home. And I found that by making people laugh, they didn't ask you any questions. So before they said, oh, we saw your dad coming home last night drunk, I made them laugh, and it's powerful. That's how I started. And I've always had this relationship with the British public, and obviously the warmth of this audience tonight. It just lifts you, and I just realised how much I love it and how much I genuinely like it.
Did you ever feel like you lost the British audience in the darkest times? Or
yeah, I was worried about it. And I used to wear a baseball hat, and I was hiding. I didn't realise I was hiding. I was frightened that people were going to react. I became very recluse. I spent a lot of time, you know, I didn't go out at all, didn't go anywhere.
If I said Michael Barrymore and the audience would say, what? It's extraordinary to have a word.
You know how that came about?
No.
Well, I used to come on in the early days doing my stand-up, and I used to go, oh, hello, good evening and welcome. And somebody said, don't you think you should have a better opening than David Frost? So I just remember my mates at school where they used to go, wait, and you know, you can't make catchphrases, it's up to the audience.
Right.
And they picked it up.
Michael Barrymore, your life has been an extreme roller coaster ride. Let's take a look.
Hold on. Oh, whoa, hold on. Whoa! Hold on! Whoa! what happened there? We're chatting away, everybody, we're all on having a nice time, and all of a sudden, what?
We're about to watch...
You could have bleeding warned me.
We're about to...
Oh, slaughter Dieu! Oh, les planqueurs!
Let's just watch the VT, shall we?
Yeah, right. Oh, dear. All right, then.
And the winner is...
Michael Barrymore.
Michael Barrymore.
He was the Bermondsey Boy, who became one of the most successful TV performers of all time.
Michael is a born entertainer. Funny and silly.
He broke down the barriers.
He was known for getting his comedy just right. Rude enough, but not too rude.
What are you on about?
The audience loved him. He was untouchable.
Thank you very much. But with the career highs came a series of very public scandals.
He's a complicated man.
The highs were high and the lows were so terribly low.
Michael's career as an entertainer started nearly 50 years ago as a Butlins redcoat.
I first met Michael in Clacton holiday camp. He was ideal as a redcoat. He mixed and mingled all of the time. All I had to do was keep him under control if I possibly could.
A run on the London cabaret circuit led to marriage with dancer Cheryl Coughlin, who then became his manager.
Here is our whiz bang.
Various TV bit parts followed.
Anybody remember me?
Until his big break at the Royal Variety Performance in 1983.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Barrymore. Go for it, Beryl. Move that.
It caught the eye of ITV producers, who were looking for a new game show host.
I'd been given Strike It Lucky, Strike It Rich.
We're trying to do Swan Lake, not the Nutcracker, sweet.
And I said, if we don't get him soon, somebody else will.
Strike It Lucky ran for 9 series.
When we first hit the screen, he was so new and fresh.
Ozzy and I would watch his show.
Are you allowed to marry people?
I should think so, yes.
Yes. Well.
He seemed like a regular bloke.
Raise them up!
It wasn't long before Michael had his own series.
Barrymore. That was all it had to say.
Strange night tonight because we're sort of making up as we go along.
By the mid-90s, Michael's shows were getting audiences of up to 20 million.
Cheryl got the money up to millions of pounds. This powerful couple.
But privately, Michael was embracing a side of himself that until now he kept hidden.
He was going out to various venues on the LGBT scene. He was ITV's biggest star. His wife also managed him. He led a double life.
You have to remember that this was the 1990s. The climate towards people who were gay then was not very friendly.
Rumours of Michael's double life started to appear in the press.
Sometimes you'd have, like, photographers outside the venue trying to get a photo of him leaving.
Michael finally came out, first in an East End pub, then exclusively to a late-night radio show.
This was so unplanned. He was talking on the radio about his sexuality without even telling Cheryl.
It's a brave thing to do in anybody's world, especially when you are the #1 entertainer at the time.
Cheryl did not want to accept that he was gay. He loved Cheryl, and she loved him.
With his complicated personal life splashed across the papers, another woman was about to enter Michael's life.
Princess Di has written this letter saying that she's very upset to hear about Michael's problems in the press and feels she could help him. And he would go around to Kensington Palace and she would come round to see him in the back of a car.
Diana said there's only 3 people that matter in the world, which is you, me and Gaza. The theory being if one was on the front page, the other 2 got a week off.
She encouraged Michael, be who you are. And this was a new Michael.
They both found someone who understood them.
I thank you for being my kind of people, and I hope that you'll allow me to live my kind of life.
What are you thinking?
I'm emotional, seeing it all in one go like that. Seeing Cheryl, Princess Diana.
They were 2 women that
Yeah.
had a real attachment with you.
Yeah.
And we'll come to Cheryl a little later. I want to start with Princess Diana. Weird coincidence, I had lunch with her at Kensington Palace and she mentioned you. And she said, I really feel sorry for Michael Barrymore. You were in all the papers. Very soon afterwards, like within days, you had gone into rehab and she wrote to you.
I thought the head of the rehab was taking the mick. I thought it was a joke.
What did she say to you?
That I hope you get well and I'd love to meet up sometime and get to know you. And, you know, she was no pound shop princess.
No.
You know, she was a class act.
When did you first meet her?
She came to my house in Bayswater. I said, do you want anything? Oh, just water, just some water. So I said, Mina. I had Mina, my housekeeper, right? Can you get... I said, what do I call you? She said, oh, Diana, I'm not a princess anymore. So I said, well, can you get Diana a glass of water? And she comes through these 2 doors. You're Diana, right? And I'm sat here. She's got the shape. She's walking towards her like that. And she's going... She bows down. I'll give her a due. Diana's going... What the fuck? We just got on straight away, and then I used to go around to Kensington Palace. We kept it private, there's no photographs.
Did it feel strange for you, Michael, to be the confidant of the Princess of Wales?
Princess and the Pauper, isn't it?
Well, yeah, very much, in a way, yeah. I mean, it must have felt very surreal, didn't it?
It did feel surreal. But actually, it didn't after a while.
Cheryl had a bit of a territorial issue with you and Diana.
No, she didn't like it.
Why?
The relationship with Cheryl, you know, we loved each other. We were known as the battle in Barrymore. That was not fighting. That was just we shouted a lot at each other. And I was her husband, her lover, her child, and her career. Too much wrapped up in one person. Worked fantastic for the success. But the very thing that made it work is what destroyed it as well.
You never had children?
We lost a couple of kids when we first married. I wanted to adopt. She didn't. Well, how can we adopt if only 50% of the relationship wants it?
She wrote in her book about Diana, she said she arrived in our lives at a moment when Michael needed hope, and she gave him that.
Yeah.
But she also took away much of the reality in our lives, and in the end, took control of his time and his life. I mean, do you think, in a way, she was jealous? Did she feel there might be something between you?
It was pretty obvious she wasn't happy about it, but we were having such a rocky time anyway.
When Diana died, where were you? How did you hear?
I was in a gay club. I was in a place called The Fridge.
In Brixton?
Oh, you know it, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow. Sit there. Sit there. Sit there. Sit there. Sit there.
This is not going to end well.
So, you know, tell us about the club. How long were you on the club scene?
I like to go and strut my stuff down the fridge of a Friday night.
Yeah?
Can we go back now?
You're very honest about it. You feel a bit uncomfortable?
I do, yeah.
All right. OK.
But to be serious, you were in this club, and how did you hear?
They came and told me, and I was distraught. It was only Friday night I was with her. I went round in the afternoon and she was seeing Dodie at the time. And she said, I'm going to Paris tonight. I'll see you with the boys Wednesday. And that never happened. She died.
A crushing blow for you.
Yeah, it was, because... Do you know what I honestly believe? I don't know why I do, that if... It wouldn't have changed a lot of things that, you know, I had to deal with all the demise. But I've got a feeling if she was still around, that it wouldn't have been so bad.
She would have helped you?
Yeah. You know, you can't help somebody get out of what they've actually done, but what happened and the way it happened, which again we'll come on to, she would have helped me through it.
I got a call saying Michael Barrymore has just come out.
Gay? Gay?
Yeah. I'll just take you back to the night you came out. I was actually at the News of the World that night and had gone home and I got a call saying Michael Barrymore has just come out.
What?
He's done what?
Gay?
And every paper reacted the same way. And
gay?
Yeah. Tell me, did you intend to do that night, or was it...
No. A drag act got up on stage and I wasn't with anybody. I was just sitting there and I thought I'll get out of the way so in case he sees me. And he went, oh, Christ, have you heard about Barrymore? And they all went, ooh. And he went, he's not here, is he? And I didn't think. I just stepped up on stage and went and started mucking about and started singing New York, New York, tell the world I'm gay. I just made a parody up straight away, not thinking anything of it. When it comes to all that stuff, I'm quite naive.
You didn't expect people to write about it, or...?
No, not at all. Just thought I just got up and I did it for a laugh. Thought no more of it, and then the next day on the newsstand there, Barrymore was gay. I went, oh, Christ. That was the first I saw it.
Right, when you saw that banner headline, your wife is also your manager.
Yeah.
And she discovers you've come out. What is her reaction when you...
She lost the plot. She went for me.
Physically attacked you?
You know, she's an Essex girl. She's got long nails. And so I've got a few of those around the neck. You know, I don't blame her.
She must have been hurt.
Of course she was, yeah, of course she was.
Her husband
was distraught. You know, I mean, how do you deal with it if you've got to tell the woman you love and that you live with that you feel you're gay? If I had a choice, I'd rather not be, gay. I really would.
Really?
Well, because life would be easier. Life, it can be difficult at times, especially when you're known, because everybody has a pot shot at you.
Did you feel all the time you were with Cheryl that actually secretly...
No, not all the time, no. I loved her for years. We had a fantastic relationship, and proper relationship.
But you said this about her, that she controlled how I looked, what I wore, how I behaved, who I mixed with.
Yes, I did.
All I had to do was get up on stage and perform and then go home to bed and perform.
That bit there don't sound like me.
It's from your book.
Oh, yeah, well, Cheryl probably added it. As I say, she controlled everything.
But you were
I'm quite happy for her to do that.
You were happy being controlled.
Work. Well, as a lot of people thought, she probably knew, but just hoped it wouldn't ever turn into anything. What I was doing, I was starting to speak up for myself and say how it was for once in my life.
You had freedom.
Yeah, I think all of that slipping away from her was she couldn't cope with it.
Michael, in your personal life, things certainly weren't always all right.
Come with me as we take a trip back over those glorious years.
Michael Kieran Parker was born in 1952 on the Dickens estate in South London. His father, George, worked on the docks.
His dad was a bit of a boozer.
Michael's dad left home when he was about 9. We knew he'd been pretty rough on his mother in particular. I think the whole family was glad that he'd gone, and that was it.
At the age of 16, Michael joined a band and straight away embraced a rock and roll lifestyle.
We didn't have the money to buy alcohol, we didn't have money to take drugs.
But we did get a lot of stuff pushed our way.
Yes, I agree.
There was one occasion where we actually had to lock him in a room because he'd taken LSD for the first time. He actually was threatening to jump out the window.
He is a person of excess in every way.
As Michael's career progressed, with more money came more temptation.
Well, the best bits are Barrymore.
Yes.
That's what's coming up.
And Michael would drink. I mean, there's no doubting that.
Shut up!
Clearly, it wasn't just alcohol, it was drugs as well.
God knows I've got a career to get on with.
With his family-friendly on-screen persona...
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Barmaid.
Michael's addictions were kept hidden until a spell in an American rehab unit hit the headlines in 1994.
That was the first time that we knew everything he was doing was having a personal cost.
I arrived here 1 month ago looking for something, and I found thee.
They were all pretty short, his detoxes, because he had contracts he wanted to fulfill.
I should have been back about last week, so I'm glad. Worked twice as hard to catch up.
All his trips to rehab, you know, oh, now you've been in here 4 weeks, you're all right, love you. Go and have a fabulous life.
Is it time to go back to the hospital again?
It never goes away. It's just how you deal with it day to day.
Oh, they're carrying me off. Bye-bye.
Michael's troubles came to a head in 1997.
I'm Michael Barrymore. You'll find me in the papers under manic depressive.
Michael's wife, who continued as his manager since his coming out, finally had enough and began divorce proceedings against him.
He lost his anchor. It's what she was. She anchored him.
They would never speak again, and Cheryl died in 2005.
There's no doubt about it, he was drinking a lot. And, of course, sadly, probably taking drugs, too.
It became clearly obvious that he'd been taking cocaine.
You know, you always think, oh, shit, no.
It was really sad to see. It was almost like a sort of depraved state.
We had a dinner, and I remember at one point Michael was on the floor, crawling underneath the tables. Thinking then Michael needed help, and I didn't give him help, and nobody else did. You know, we all should take some blame for that.
Listening to that, were you even aware, really, of how bad your life was spiralling in that period?
No, I mean, that snowball was so huge, you know, and slowly got enveloped into the hell known as rock bottom. All that success, you know, to me, I was just full of self-loathing and felt rotten about probably what I'd done to Cheryl and then beating myself up about it. Nobody needs to have told me off at any one time, ever in my life, about my behaviour. Nobody told me off better than me. I would just look in the mirror and say, you're just useless. You're worthless, you know?
And then go drinking.
And then go and drink on top of it. You know, you can't win. I'm so depressed, have a drink. You know, and actually doesn't have one drink. That's just a starter. Or I'm so happy, have a drink. They don't have one drink. There's no
At your worst, Michael, how much would you be drinking or taking drugs?
Whatever was around. I mean, if you told me that bit of paper would make me high, I would eat it.
A doctor told you if you don't stop doing what you're doing, you'll be dead by Christmas.
You don't care. You know, when you're in the throes of addiction, you're stoned and drunk or whatever you are, and you go, Michael, you're going to lose your career. Good. Michael, you're going to die. Good. I want to die.
I saw you at your worst. It was a Pride of Britain Awards, and you were openly taking cocaine and booze with people seeing you.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the Michael Barrymore knew either of those.
I'm not proud of it. No, nobody is, you know. I mean, but... and I don't ask anybody to understand addiction at its worst. But it's the addict that's talking, it's the addict's behaviour, and it's the addict that's doing everything, not the person when they're without it.
You had this incredibly intense marriage with Cheryl, and then it went completely the other way, of nothing.
Yeah.
You had no contact with her at all.
Yeah.
When you look back on your life, was she the great love of your life?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Nobody goes up the aisle thinking, oh, well, I'll be out of this in 10 years. You know, we all go in because we genuinely love the person for what they are as the person.
Do you think if Cheryl and Diana had still been in your life when all the really bad stuff was going on, do you think it would have happened?
Yeah, it probably wouldn't have happened. You can't live your life saying if I hadn't turned left, I wouldn't have hit that car, if I'd gone the other way. You know, that's... stuff happens.
Because you lost one,
I think,
you lost one to a tragic accident. The other one, you lost through a personal choice of wanting to be honest with yourself about who you were.
Yeah. It's, oh, Christ, this bleeding show. It's good to cry sometimes. That's what it's there for, isn't it? I can't do it with Dave, the dog. He doesn't understand. Don't really get it. I'm going to tell him about you when I get home tonight. I'm not making excuses.
No, but I'm saying the reason that
I fucked up. What more do you want? I fucked up.
I get it. Let's go back to where it all started. You were born Michael Kieran Parker. Concentrate. What are your memories of growing up?
Well, my memories of growing up are very, delightful memories I had. And I know you're talking about Michael Barrymore, but I grew up as John Hurt.
Let's get back to you.
Yeah, all right.
Tell me about your father.
He was a compulsive gambler.
Was he loving to you at all or not?
I sat on his lap once and looked at him, like the kids do, and I looked at him in the eyes and he sort of... All I thought was that he doesn't know who I am.
I mean, you were 11 when he came home drunk one night and put a shotgun up to you and your mother.
Yeah. That was the most terrifying moment. But she just got hold of me and for some reason lowered it down and went away. But you don't know that at the time, do you?
He left soon after that, didn't he?
Yeah. He used to be around the corner in the Sally Army, the Salvation Army.
You'd see him there drunk.
Yeah, I'd watch him go up and down. I wanted a dad,
Do you know what happened to him?
Died in a pauper's grave. I was told by the Sunday People, they put their head through the window as I was coming out of the theatre one night and said, your dad's dead. That's how I found out.
And how did you feel when you heard that news?
Terribly sad. It was sad.
I was going to ask you about your mum.
Yeah.
Was she... Sounds a very tough character, but was she a loving character?
Yeah, lovely. You wouldn't get a cuddle or I love you. It just wasn't that sort of family.
Did she ever tell you that she loved you?
When she was older, yeah. Yeah, no, not when we were younger. I think she's too busy. She did office cleaning in the morning, and then she'd go and work for the metal box company, and then come home and get me tea, and then go back out cleaning in the evening again. Tough woman, but she supported me when I told her I wanted to go on the stage. She said, good.
But she made sacrifices for you too.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
From the heights of fame to rock bottom, you had a very long way to fall.
Welcome to Kids Say the Funniest Thing.
In the late 90s, Michael was still riding high as Mr. Primetime. He'd also found new love with 24-year-old city broker Sean Davis.
Love is the answer.
Sean was an absolute pucker sweetheart. He really was.
Well, I'm here in the heart of Scotland with Michael Barrymore and his 24-year-old partner, Sean Davis. At the end of all those storms that he'd been through, I just thought, oh, gosh, he's found home at last. His and Sean's plans where they wanted to adopt. You mentioned children there.
And the process going through, but when the circumstances are right, yes, I would.
Michael said if the time's right, you can't... I think there's got to be that quality time as well with the kid.
Sean had calmed him down a bit, although if he was determined to drink and take substances, then you can't control that.
No one really controlled Michael. Michael controlled Michael.
But in late 2000, after 2 years together, Sean and Michael split up, and Michael got together with estate agent John Kenny. 3 months later, after a night out clubbing, they invited a group of men and women back to Michael's house for a party.
It was all quiet at Michael Barrymore's home today. On Friday night, he'd been at the Millennium Club in Harlow with friends. But just hours later, 31-year-old Stuart Lubbock was found unconscious in Barrymore's swimming pool.
As the story unfolded, a post-mortem revealed severe internal injuries to the dead man.
Couldn't take it in at first, what on earth was going on.
A horrendous situation for everyone.
It just escalated and escalated.
Michael's behaviour on the night was also under scrutiny.
When I found out that Michael had run away, I knew that was the wrong thing to do, having worked for the police for 25 years.
The detectives investigating the death of Stuart Lubbock on March the 31st have made 3 arrests this morning.
The police arrested Michael's boyfriend and another man on suspicion of murder and then released them without charge. Michael was also arrested and cautioned on drug offences.
Stories crept out bit by bit. Drink and drugs had been found in Stuart Lubbock's blood. And Fleet Street, this was a bean feast, I'm afraid.
In 2002, there was an inquest where Michael abstained from comment.
Barrymore exercised his right not to answer questions about drugs at the inquest.
Now remember, this is the guy, the star, that had always been open, friendly to everybody.
The coroner recorded an open verdict.
I've been unable to determine how exactly Stuart came to his death.
With the case still open, in 2006, Essex Police launched a second inquiry, eventually arresting Michael and 2 other men from the night on suspicion of serious sexual assault and murder.
We remain committed to finding out the truth of what happened that night. Someone knows, and I hope their conscience to do the right thing will eventually prevail.
I've been asking for years for this to be done, and to bring it to a conclusion, essentially for Stuart's family and for myself.
All 3 were released without charge. But the damage to Michael's career seemed irreversible.
I'm not sure there's ever been a fall like it from someone who was loved. A father's son, and a dad died, and that brings its own tragedy, and I know Michael feels that. I know he feels that.
I heard that he was on suicide watch, so I went down, and it was just awful. It really was. Because I just felt so sorry for him. I really did. And I thought he was just a broken man. He really was.
Tough to watch. A good friend of yours talking that way about you.
A friend, yeah.
I mean, talk me through what happened that night.
Yeah.
People were drinking, taking drugs?
They're all having drinks. They said, oh, can we go in the jacuzzi? So I said, yeah, I've got to put the lights on, because otherwise you won't see where you're going. And then I went out of there and had a joint, and as we walked out, I looked down and there's a Stuart floating in the pool. Or whether it's floating, when you see that, it's a very surreal thing to see.
And what went through your mind?
I just went into a bit of shock. I just went, oh, Christ. And, it's quite obvious he wasn't moving much. The first thing I did when I said it was run back into the house and get help from Jonathan, who I knew had lifeguard experience. They came out and started resuscitating him. I ran back. This is something I want to clear up. I did not flee the house. I did not flee and suggest I was running away. I phoned Mike Brown, my PA, my personal assistant, and I said, there's been a problem at the house, told him what had happened. It's going to be surrounded by press. When the police wanted to talk to me, they knew exactly where I was. Yes, I should have stayed. I was wrong. I've always admitted that. I've never been frightened to admit that. Yes, I should have stayed. I didn't think it seemed the right thing to do. But we can all do should-haves after the event. And yes, I should have. I didn't. And I'd like to, if you could bear with me. This is a copy of the letter. This letter, do you mind if I read it?
Sure.
And this is from the Crown Prosecution Service. I've never read this out or brought this out before because it's only come to light. The 10th of September 2007. There was no evidence upon which to charge any person either for the death of Stuart Lubbock or the injuries he sustained to his rectum. Michael Parker, me, has an alibi from 3 people in the period immediately prior to the discovery of Stuart in the pool. I therefore conclude that there is insufficient evidence against all 3 suspects for there to be proceedings concerning the death of Stuart Lubbock or relating to the injury.
The truth about this, Michael, isn't it, is that we may never know the truth.
Yes.
You were there. What do you take responsibility for?
I was responsible for allowing people to come back to my house and go out to the pool. You would assume was capable of looking after themselves.
I mean, I understand how you feel and the passionate way that you defend yourself. But I guess objectively...
But if I don't defend myself,
No,
you know, I've got people that go around
I get it.
making all sorts of allegations.
I get it. But what I would say is this, that I guess you have to start, don't you, from the position that this young man, this father of 2 kids, lost his life.
No, hang about. I'm getting to that. You haven't let me finish.
Right.
That family deserve proper answers, OK? No parent should have to bury their young. I had nothing to do with what happened to Stuart. I am innocent. I am not 99.9% innocent. I am 100% innocent, and I am entitled to walk around with my head held high for the rest of my life.
But let me ask you this, Michael. How do you think Stuart died?
I think he drowned.
There are still some people, for whatever reason, that don't believe it. What do you say to them?
I have to go around and live my life. If they've got anything to say to me, they can say it to me personally, and I'll give them an answer personally.
But do you believe there are people out there that know the answer?
But I have to, because there's no answer anywhere else. And yet all that's happened over all these years is that it was convenient, you know, and some of the journalism. You showed one of the headlines there, gay orgy. How do you have a gay orgy with 4 girls and 5 blokes, 3 of who are straight? How do you?
Stuart was found with various drugs in his body, and you were asked directly if you had facilitated him taking drugs, and you declined to answer. What was the truth about that?
Well, I didn't facilitate him taking drugs, but no, I was advised that by my lawyers at the time. You don't have to answer in a coroner's court. You can just... I said, well, I'll just say, you know, I didn't.
But again, with hindsight, do you...
I mean, I
see that...
No, yes, but you can see lots of things in hindsight. Yeah. I'm not making excuses.
No, but I'm saying the reason that
I fucked up. What more do you want? I fucked up.
I get it. And somebody died.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I couldn't be more sorry.
Look, Stuart will never get his life back, but you will never get the comfort of this being resolved, because it's hard to see how it will be.
But I have to live in hope that somehow, somewhere, there will be an answer. I hope it's in time, whatever's left of my life.
You went into rehab after this. Everything has gone, really, and now your career's gone. You're accused of being responsible for someone's death. What was it like for you as you sat in rehab, trying to get your head around what had happened to your life?
Well, I just wanted it over. I tried taking my life. Obviously didn't do it very well. I'm here. But
how did you try to do that?
Tablets. And
take a lot?
Yeah. And a young copper got me to the hospital. And he left me and got me secure, and then I pulled all the wires out from me and I went wandering off into the streets again. And then he came back, driving around West London looking for me, got me back. And off his own back, he came back the next day to make sure and see how I was and make sure I was all right. That's a sort of police force, you know, we're so proud of.
Have you had love since in the last few years with anyone?
Oh, God.
How much have you missed performing with an audience? When you started today, it felt like a little bit of the old Barrymore was back. And I do feel that.
Having had a taste tonight, yeah, I mean, but I'll get over it if it doesn't come back, you know. It's all right. I've learnt to do now, these last 10 years, is claim my life back and learn that I can live on my own with Dave, my dog. When I go home tonight, I go in Dave and I saw the Morganator earlier and a fantastic crowd there, and I'll say hopefully I didn't come over like an old fool.
I've got a picture of Dave.
Oh, well, have you? Oh, really? Oh, wow.
You promised Dave you weren't going to cry tonight. Do you think he'll forgive you?
No, he'll stick by me, whatever. You know, Dave will be there.
Have you had love since in the last few years with anyone?
No. I'm not looking.
You're not?
No. I don't go out.
You don't go to restaurants or...?
Well, we're going to find in a restaurant or at the other tables. I mean, who are you going to meet?
See, the irony, though, is you're such a people guy, yet you lead this quite kind of isolated existence on your own.
Yeah. I've got a balance now. I can come away and go, do you know what, you don't have to go out and be around everybody in a club, in a thing, you know, all those days are gone. And I can live without drink or booze or drugs, and I you know.
Do you miss any of that?
No, I don't miss any of it. I have a fantastic life now. I just love the simplicity of it.
After 2 turbulent decades, it was time to start again.
To get 4 is a lot. In my case, to get 8 is unbelievable. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Having lost everything, the 2000s saw Michael try to make a new life for himself in New Zealand with on-off boyfriend Sean.
I think it was a very wise thing for him to do, to go as far away from England as he could physically get.
Although living 11,000 miles away, he still made appearances on British television.
And I thought, no, sod it. I've got nothing to lose.
His gift of entertaining is a God-given gift.
Last time I did that, I can't remember.
And he's gone back to his roots.
Michael Barrymore always set out to be an actor.
Leslie?
You've done well for yourself, haven't you?
My contention is that if you can play comedy, believe you me, you can do anything.
1 minute you're up, next minute you're down.
When you think about it, he was always an act. When he went on stage, that's why it's called an act. So for Michael to actually get taken seriously as an actor was fantastic for him.
Acting could be his salvation. He has the talent.
Lead roles on the stage would see some of the old spark return.
Saviour's name is M-O-N.
Scrooge is about redemption. I thought, if there's anyone in this world who could do with redemption, it's Michael.
Good afternoon, sir.
In 2011, Michael gave up drink and drugs.
I do know he's been sober for 8 years. He found it very, very difficult.
When he was living with me in Brighton, every single day, without exception, AA.
I can walk into an AA room and sit down and instantly you've got friends.
You know, he found great solace in AA. Not only AA, but Michael supporting others. That was huge.
They say to keep your own sobriety, you have to give back.
I met him through recovery. This guy goes out of his way. You know, my mum was dying and he came up the hospital. Oh, wow, he made her day. He's a father figure, a bit like an older brother. It gives me, you know, so much hope.
He's a sober geezer. So that's it, he's in a good space.
Along the way, he's had this colourful, exotic journey, but in the end, Michael's a survivor.
His sobriety is the most precious thing he has. I just pray that he, you know, continues on that path.
He's happy. And I love him, and I want him to get there.
Very moving, that young man talking about you.
Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, he's good, mate.
Do you agree with that? Part of sobriety is giving back?
Yeah. You got to help others with no agenda, you know? You give away to receive, you know? But I get paid back tenfold, you know? That's how it works.
Rob is actually here somewhere, actually, there, yeah?
Yeah, there. Hello, Rob. You all right?
When you see him there, what do you feel about the help that you've given that young man?
Exactly the same as all the help he's given me.
It's a two-way street.
Yeah, it's a two-way street.
Bill Cumright there talks about if anyone deserves or should get redemption.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you've reached that point when you should just get another crack of the whip from the British public, from the people, from the media, from everybody?
I'd be lying if I didn't say that would be amazing, but Oh, is there much left of this programme?
No, there isn't.
I've enjoyed it. I'll really hold on to it. I mean, it goes a lot deeper than I could even explain to you. Sorry. Fuck. Oh.
It's not easy. Going over this stuff must be very difficult for you.
Sorry.
Thank you. If I had the power to let you relive a moment from your whole career,
Yeah.
what would you choose?
The top of the bill at the Royal Variety, we had one go at it in front of the Queen, and I'd gone from bottom of the bill on New Boy and the Royal Show, the next one up, and then I was given the top slot. And Cheryl, she said to me, save the ceiling falling in, you're going to have a result tonight. Those moments, they don't come around that often, you know.
What would you say personally has been the highlight for you in fighting?
At the moment, I'll take this.
This for tonight?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Michael Barrymore.